So we just watched Bad Batch Season 3, Episode 1. This is probably combined our least favorite Star Wars project of all time. How'd you feel about this?
It's not the absolute worst, but I wasn't excited for this.
Okay.
I think like when you and I were talking about like the screening and stuff and like, okay, it's coming out. It was just meh for me. There was no excitement. There was nothing really like.
Did you watch Season 1 and Season 2?
I did watch all Season 1. I have to be honest, I didn't finish all of Season 2. So I caught up. We watched the recap. I know what happens. Spoiler alert. I was not excited for the season. There wasn't really anything that was like a real hook. Can we talk spoilers here? Is that okay?
100%.
So obviously we have the death of Tech, and then Omega's captured. There's all this. Wrecker's captured too. This episode 1...
Crosshair's captured, right?
I think Wrecker was captured too at the end.
Was he?
In the recap, we saw him kind of like...
Yes, you're right, yes.
And again, like I know, how can I judge a series without watching the whole thing? But it just doesn't interest me.
That's super easy because this is Star Wars. This is something that we both care about quite deeply. And we spend a lot of our time watching videos watching the movies, reading books, playing the games. Like we invest a lot of our time into Star Wars, a lot of our money into Star Wars. So 100% you can judge a series without watching all of it because this didn't make you want to watch all of it.
Yeah.
And that's what Star Wars is about, right? Like we watch everything. We've watched everything. So for a series to come out on our favorite piece of media and us not to even want to watch it is a big thing, I'd say.
This Bad Batch just... Okay, so if you don't like the Rebels art style and the Clone Wars art style, you're getting the same thing. So the animation, this is beautiful though. It's extremely well done. But we talk about that, like the clone commandos don't look as intimidating as they do in like other media.
Yeah.
The clones themselves.
Bro, in 2006 we had Republic Commando and those things look scary.
Yeah, like they're like, we'll put a size comparison up, but like they're it just doesn't feel that.
Yeah.
And the only thing we see the clone commandos doing in this are being guards.
Yeah.
And like, wow,
they're basically glorified Coruscant guards with crazy cool armor and all these skills, and
it's kind of a letdown in that aspect, but this episode didn't do anything. So this was just Omega being captured and her time in imprisonment, and it was the
worst part, like you say this was Omega being captured. This wasn't even Omega being captured. This was Omega after she got captured. I'm like, we didn't even get to see the capturing.
Yes.
Like
that was that was the end of season 2, so you had something exciting. And then the season 3 starts and it's like she's in captivity. And it was kind of done in an artistic style of showing her her progression through time. And she ends up being there for a while and you see the changes and she builds this routine and it's the monotony. And like, I know this isn't helping the cause, but like Andor kind of did that with the prison stuff, but the hooks in that were way more exciting. You wanted to come back every episode because there was a major reveal. There was something they were working towards. It was interesting.
Yeah.
This is what she's still trying to get Crosshair back to her side. Which he hasn't done, and like it doesn't look like he's going to.
She wants this psycho weirdo's approval.
Yeah,
come escape with me, even though you've betrayed us for 2 seasons.
And he's like, "I would leave you. Like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
like I'm not.
You're lying," she said. Dude, no hook whatsoever from the beginning. I feel like you said this great earlier. They went for like a more artistic style than actual.
Like sustenance and like what did we get?
Like what is a TV show supposed to be? Okay, let's break it down. Remember in school when they're like, this is how you write a paragraph, hamburger format. Like, bro, TV shows have a format that we need to follow to make a good project, right? Like every movie, everything, like there's a build up, big thing, resolve, feel good. Like that's just how movies and TV shows go. So when we stray out where it's just a boring episode, like literally, and not only just a boring episode. This isn't episode 4. This isn't episode 16. This is episode 1
of the final season.
And nothing happens. We don't learn anything. Nothing climactic happens.
We get a little tidbit of information about the M count and the clones and some tests.
Didn't we already know that though?
Most of it, but like there was no major reveal.
Yeah. I thought at the end when Buddy was like, the Emperor, let's see if he's as forgiving as I am. I thought we were going to see the Emperor show up or something. Boom, huge climax, hook.
Yeah.
Episode 2, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I thought the episode ended 3 times.
And
it faded to a black screen. I was like, oh, well.
Yeah, it pulled the Lord of the Rings where you think it's over.
Literally.
So even with, okay, so we know that the cloning, so they like pretty much say it that like, okay, they're trying to make clones that have high M counts, midichlorian counts, and her tests, the midichlorian counts are coming back like lesser and lesser. So they consider it a failure. She's tampering with it. Like we can see she's obviously doing something. So we understand that. But yeah, how cool would it be if like, oh, you know, the Emperor has a word and like all of a sudden it cuts to like a room where like there's a bunch of Palpatine clones.
Yeah.
And like that's the hook that it's like, ooh, that's what all these shows have been building up to. Mando, you know what I mean? Or like something like that. But like we got nothing.
When does this take place too? A couple years after Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, because they see Kanan in episode 1 or season 1, episode 1, and he's still a young child. So this is, before Rebels, before all that.
Yeah. When the height of the Empire should be happening. Like, this should be the coolest time in the galaxy. This should be the most ruthless. If you're going to make Star Wars content in this time, I feel like this is the prime, like, era. Like, we can...
You show the corruption, and I feel like...
You show the corruption, you show...
Some episodes have. I feel like even in, like, in the earlier seasons, like, some kind of showed you, like, that transition of, like, okay, they're switching over to these new troopers, they're getting rid of clones for this reason, they destroyed the cloning facility, you know what I mean? Like, we don't need this army that can be used against us. But you're starting to see more of, like, the Imperial rule and, like, the Imperial warlords that are like, oh, man, this guy is just a dick to be a dick. You know what I mean? This character, Hemlock, that is our antagonist. Really cool. I think you said it was Jimmy Simpson who did the voice. Really cool, really intimidating, but, like, what's the threat with him? Like, what?
Maybe we'll find that out later, but he doesn't seem too threatening at this point.
It doesn't, like, there's no, in Andor, we saw, I keep going back to the show because it's so good. We saw just, like, unnamed Imperial officers, and we saw, like, how scary they could be and, like, how effective. Like, there wasn't really anything here. This was just an episode of, like, Omega's day-to-day, and, like, she has an animal that she trains and rescues and releases, and it's symbolic, and she's, still rebelling and yada yada. This episode ended and it was like, what did we just watch for last time?
Yeah, it felt very long for a half-hour Star Wars project
and
too.
Nothing going on.
Like, watching the first season or two of Mandalorian, like, those episodes go by so fast, and you're like, oh no, that was it, I'm not ready for it to be over yet. Like, this, I was ready for it to be over the whole time.
So I think we're doing this one episode at a time as a review. I know that they released 3, and that's kind of like the idea that it's watch all 3, but I don't think that that's a fair justification. If you want to release an hour and a half worth of content, release a movie.
Yeah.
So make it a condensed or a special or a feature. That's where I feel like these should be going. Like, I don't need to watch, there's way too much filler. I don't need to watch all that stuff. If you want to do like the Bad Batch isn't even a great title, but you want to do a series on the transition from clones to, Empire Rising, something cool. Like, I'm all for that. And, like, the behind the scenes stuff, like, that's cool. I don't need, like, Ricka, Dick, and
keep it going.
And Ricka and Hunter. I don't need to see them doing mercenary missions day after day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just kind of got to be like, either this is about the Bad Batch.
Were they a group of mercenaries?
Don't they? That's what they end up becoming.
That's 100% what they end up becoming.
So then why are we focusing on the Empire? Like, it's all.
Then why are we circling back to Lama Su and the clones and dude?
Nahus, isn't it Nahus?
I don't care.
No, it's I don't know. It was a hard watch. That's all. I don't know. Maybe episode 2 is going to be better. We'll see.
You're so optimistic.
We'll get into it. Maybe it's a little bit better. I feel like episode 2 is going to be really focused on the clones now, like the actual Bad Batch.
Let's do something crazy right now. Let's take a guess, and in the comments, leave your guess before we reveal it. How much do you think Bad Batch Season 3 cost Disney to make?
Oh, I couldn't even begin to fathom.
I'm going to say 50 to 60 M's. Is what I'm going to say. What's your answer?
I couldn't even make a good guess, but you're saying 50 to 60 million. I don't think it's as much. Maybe 20, 30 to 40.
This guy is estimating 1 million to 2 million per episode.
And how many episodes are there?
We don't know yet.
I think in the previous season there was mid-teens, like 13, 14, 15, 16, something like that.
Wasn't it like 40?
For a Bad Batch?
Yeah.
Check it out.
15 episodes this season. So 15 M's.
$15 million. Okay, so I said
15 to 30.
Okay.
15 to 30.
So I was closer in mind, but like, I mean, it's not cheap. The animation quality is really good. Just make a movie. Just condense all the crap. I don't need all like the little stuff in between. Make a little movie.
It just makes me so mad, bro. So much money is going to waste.
Okay.
Nobody likes the Bad Batch.
They're pushing. It does feel like it's
Actually, that's not true. I do talk to people at conventions, and they go, "I love the Bad Batch." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I'm glad someone does because
there are people out there. I can appreciate it. I feel like the show is just poorly paced, and this this episode was like a big indicator. Like, didn't go anywhere.
If you like the Bad Batch, okay, in what context is like better than Family Feud, or do you like the Bad Batch as a Star Wars you know what I mean? I'm like, because if you're just like, oh well, I like the Bad Batch because we're getting more Star Wars content. Well, when I say I don't like the Bad Batch, that's not what I'm comparing it to.
Yeah.
I'm comparing it to the fact that we've gotten amazing movies from Lucasfilm. We've gotten great shows. We've gotten all this stuff. But then we get the Bad Batch. We get Andor. We get Kenobi. We get these other shows that are subpar to Mandalorian or the first 6 movies. Anything that friggin' Lucasfilm put out. Books, games,
It's
all of it had better stories than half of the stuff that Disney's putting out.
It's a really weird kind of thing because like I remember Mandalorian coming out, I was so excited. We just said for this Bad Batch, it's like season 3, it's like, yeah, what to do?
Mandalorian, season 1, 2, and 3, Ahsoka and Kenobi. I remember like being super excited for it. Like,
I agree.
So excited that I was like, I don't honestly think I can wait 3 months for this. Like, I'm going to go insane. Like, that's how excited I was. You know what I mean? I was like, I literally cannot wait. I'm going nuts. Like, trailer come out, I'd watch it right away. Like, anything. I was so hyped for those shows. You couldn't pay me to get hyped for this thing.
There's no big hook. I don't know. Like, we know all the secrets about the clones. We know about this whole cloning process for like, you know, a force sensitive user. You know, the other shows and movies have set it up. There's just nothing really that's exciting. So I don't know. What are your thoughts for the next episode and the rest of the season? Like, what do you foresee?
So since this whole first episode was just Omega, I think that it's going to be the other guys for the next episode. What they're doing, I have no idea. Probably not anything exciting. Because they're not trying to just be like super, pessimistic. I'm not trying to be that. I'm saying like we got nothing exciting from Omega from the first episode, so I'm guessing this is going to be let's meet the crew again, see where they're at. Yeah. And then it's going to be, okay, episode 3, maybe we'll start to make some traction. Yep. Episode 4, okay, maybe something might happen. Like, but I don't think it's going to be a very fast-paced show by any means. A lot
of time has passed from episode in the timing of episode 1. So yeah. I think she had marked 21 days, and then it was like 3 or 4 times that, like the entire wall was covered. So they obviously aren't rescuing her. There was like no massive attempt there. There's no acknowledgement of like Tech's death, which is strange.
Yeah, we heard nothing about that.
You know, like, yeah, zero. Like, there could have been a conversation that she overheard or something.
Does Crosshair know?
You know, like that. There could have been something there. Like, give us something. Let us feel like it's tied in. So, yeah, I think you're right in a lot of that. And where does the season go? Like, where do you end up with?
I'm guessing we're gonna have something with Palpatine.
It's got to fit nice and neatly into Rebels, and then you know what I mean.
Anyway. What are they going to give us? We don't have anything lined up, do we? Like,
I don't know. I guess
you know what? Just give us Starkiller. I want to just give us Starkiller. Like,
give us Star Wars. What if we talked about this?
Yeah,
or a Star Wars TV show that's like animated in different styles, not Visions, but it's like Legends of Star Wars. So it's like, hey, let's take a quick story about a character like Starkiller, and let's just watch a little snippet of their adventure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like a 30, 40-minute episode.
I would love to
an
see
hour and a half special presentation on just like...
So Ahsoka's been to the World Between Worlds twice, right?
Yes.
So why don't you just give us a story about Ahsoka going to the World Between Worlds and venturing?
Yeah. Have it be Ezra. The first time he's in there.
Whoa, watch. Give us a character we care about.
I like Ezra.
Or Anakin, like the chosen one.
But he was there as an apparition. But I get what you're saying. Like, just give us something.
Give us, and then you can time travel. You can, and it doesn't like mess with anything. You could literally go do a what if, but in the Star Wars galaxy. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like that would be great for it to be like Anakin or say Luke or someone like a Skywalker, someone of that stature where you could like, okay, this is what the galaxy is. Like, let me go back and rewatch like some things and what they could have.
I mean, they could do like a what if, like, what if the Death Star plans were stolen by a different bounty hunter, and you do like a hour and a half Dash Rendar.
Yeah,
you know that
you could literally, bro. You could literally do any story you wanted. So you know how Star Wars is trying to do their whole like, we want like a Western style. We want our retro style. Yeah. We want. You could literally do any story you wanted. You want to go tell a bounty hunter story? You could tell a bounty hunter story. You want to tell a Sith story? You could tell. But like through the world of Between Worlds, I mean. Like,
I know what you're saying.
What if? You know, like, you want to tell a love story? Cool. Go recreate Padme with someone else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could literally
give us a story in that time.
Create any story you wanted with that.
So what you're saying is the Bad Batch just isn't a good story that you find exciting and enjoyable, and
I think there's all the Star Wars projects we're getting are not what we should be getting.
Okay.
And Bad Batch is probably the worst of the bunch.
Okay. All right.
Especially now that we're on season 3. Well, I would love to see the numbers too, like the stream numbers.
So, you know, again, I have to acknowledge that I did not finish season 2, so it's hard for me to. But yeah, I mean, what were the numbers like tonight? And I want to see what they were for like all 3 episodes. Did people watch 1 and tailor off? Did they watch 2 and tailor off? Did they watch all 3? You know,
and okay, so another thing too is like, so with the whole YouTube thing, like, we're not monetized at this point. Like, we're just doing this for fun, right? But like, YouTube's super harsh, right? Like, people click on, and if they don't like the first 15 seconds of your video, they're off, they're gone. Where I feel like
stay and watch. Thank you.
Bad Batch gets like stuff like this just gets people like they friggin' pay to watch this. Pay $7.99 to sit there and get tortured. Like, nobody enjoyed that. Nobody, if that was a YouTube video, would have stayed and watched that. Nobody. You know what I mean? Like, it's funny how on a different platform that you pay for, it's like more forgiving that you'd sit there through something that's like...
They give you 3 episodes too that you like, you will sit through all 3.
Yeah.
All 3 will be good.
Yeah.
Spend an hour and a half of your time and it'll eventually get there.
And like, we put out a short, like a comedy short, right? And then we go look at the analytics, and it's like 75% of viewers are watching after, say, 30 seconds or whatever. And you're like, okay, so on a 60-second video, we lost 25% of our viewers on like one of our best videos. We're like, I want to see their analytics so bad. I want to see how many people are watching, say, this versus like Mandalorian season 2 or Mandalorian season 3 episode 1. Like,
do Mandalorian season 3 because they're both season.
There you go, and like any other show that performs well, I'm like, why would you do a season 3? Because there's no way. I feel like Bad Batch is streaming like these other shows.
This is a very niche market.
Yeah.
You had to like the Clone Wars. You had to like this particular thing in the Clone Wars. You have to keep going. Like, it's just...
And we both like the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
We both like Star Wars.
This just isn't hitting it for me. I mean, let's stick with it. Let's get a few more episodes in. We'll give our thoughts on those. But I mean, I'm not super optimistic. I'm not like, can't wait for next week. Can't wait for next episode.
Yeah. Not the way Mandalorian left me feeling. Not the way even Kenobi or Ahsoka left me feeling. Like, as crappy as some people think those shows were, and like, even like, I don't think they were the best shows, but they still left me feeling wanting to see next week.
Mandalorian when those episodes end, it's an adventure.
Yep.
You are like relieved of the story.
That song plays,
and you see the storyboard, the animation, and you're like, "This is what I just saw." Like, okay, this was cool. This was an adventure. Yeah. This was just someone trying to be really artsy and like get a very deep episode in that. Just, it doesn't even work in this art style. Mm-hmm. Like I was saying, like the animation and like the movement and stuff doesn't work for this kind of avant-garde like movie thing they're doing, like the water dropping out, like
Someone explain the water to me. What was with the water? It was going slow, then it was going fast. Then
terrible
it was going
plumbing.
slow. What was with the water? What was the symbolism in the water? Like, someone please enlighten me, because I have no idea what that was about.
So it was just, I don't know, did not do it for me. The creature, I said too, like I hate how like these terrifying creatures have like the cutesiest like little, yeah, you know what I mean? Like this thing could fucking rip you apart, pardon my language, but it purrs like a little kitten.
Yeah.
You're like, come on.
Yeah.
You know.
So, all in all, I didn't like it.
I'll give it a.
Oh, that's a better way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it a. It's like, I don't think it's the worst thing I've seen, but like, I don't know. This is like maybe like a 1 out of 5. You know, this is like a just Rekka from the Bad Batch. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 5 because no hook. Season 2 didn't encapsulate me. I have no idea what's about to happen, and I don't really care. I'm just bored watching it.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining. So that's, yeah, 1 out of 5 for me as well. Yeah. Make sure you let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, we want to hear your thoughts. I mean, maybe we're missing it. Maybe we're just not as optimistic.
Change our minds.
Yeah, let us know. Like maybe that episode was like one of your favorite things. Maybe that was like, it was really
Can you
like
imagine
the pacing.
And we just crapped on it.
Hey, you know what? It could be because someone could have been like, okay, the finale of season 2 with the death of that was devastating. So I needed like a cool down episode. I needed that intermittent, but like
that's what the 1.5 years off.
That's what I'm talking about. If it was right afterwards, like okay, that's one thing. But 1.5 years, like we've had a lot of Star Wars content.
Yeah,
I have to watch recaps now to be like, what's happened?
Yeah,
who's there? So
yeah,
let's hear your thoughts on this.
Change your minds. If you're still here, you're the GOAT. We really appreciate you.
Thank you guys for watching.
Look at that. Nice. Hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.
I'm back for some more Bad Batch.